Welcome to the Spiritualogic Podcast with our host, Sanal Banu Rajan, a revolutionary spiritual thought leader who has redefined and redesigned spirituality for the modern era. In this podcast, you will learn more about a new method of spirituality and mind transformation that's logical and tangible for anyone to use and experience profound results. Get ready to hear real wisdom that'll make a difference. Learn how to shift your perspective in a way that matters, gain more abundant choices, and ultimately create the life that you would truly love to live. Make sure to follow Sanal on social media and enjoy the show.
Usually, we form habits at a certain time in order to adapt to the situation at hand. Let's just say I moved into a new city, and in the city, going out in the night is dangerous. Okay, so because of that, I adopted a new behavior, of going early to sleep and getting to the home early. And now, after years have passed by, now I have moved on from the city to another place, but I'm still having the same rules that I had. But I'm not, because I have the same belief this is the best to be safe and all that. But conditions have changed. This is a totally safe thing. This now this rule and this habit I have is only taking me taking out from me. It's not really protecting me anymore. It's simply debilitating. It's not serving me in my life anymore. It's keeping me away from socializing and interacting and forming relationships and forming connections and all that. Instead, I'm just choosing to only because but the conditions has changed. I can give you another example. The example is that of butterflies. Like for example, butterflies, if you capture a few butterflies and seal the top of it and put them inside, they will try to escape and fly up to the top. And then after if you leave them for 2 or 3 days, you take off the top. What happens is these butterflies literally will stay below and they will go. What happens is the butterflies get into a psychological phenomenon called not premature ejaculation. What is the word? Premature. They come into a premature conclusion. There is a proper word for it. I put my mouth. Yeah, but you understand the point. They prematurely came to a conclusion that, oh, there is no way out through that anymore. So there is no point in looking. Why just wasting energy? But now the conditions have changed. They actually are free, but they don't go because they have made up their mind. That's why everything is changing, and you are thinking that if it to otherwise you forget. You forget that things are changing, and maybe habit is as much as it was useful to me as it was way back then when I developed it. You get it? I got it. Yeah. But now I'm like, wait. What is the question? I don't understand. What is the relationship with? Very work like about yeah, that I answered. I answered that, right? Yeah, changing the relationship. Yeah. Or maybe what is specifically the question related with that? I'm very yeah. Like okay. Like which your attraction. You're speaking about attraction, right? Okay. Okay. No one would can change me. Okay. 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 Now there's next like mass bicep. Okay. 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 Now I get the concept. Okay. After both. Yeah. 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 But yeah. Yeah, if it is actually debilitating you, because if it's all in context, brother, if someone for someone getting out of social media is actually useful to them. For you, it is actually useful to you because you need getting out and your information bringing out and gonna bring in more people to you that they will know that you are there and all of that is possibility. But for someone, getting out of social media is necessary because they're not they're just simply consuming all the time and they're not creating anything with it. They're wasting away time. So it's probably they need to get off social media because they are using social media as a dopamine fix. They're simply addicted to the dopamine hit by scrolling and watching random stuff. Wait, makes sense. Yeah, it's a concept of Yeah, so everything is in contact. Everything is in contact. So far away, now is it? Now we see like benefit. So I tried to go, oh, do we eat over everything? No. But you said for everything. No, you actually have a relationship with things because that's the way you have an experience. Without you having a relationship with something, you don't get to have an experience at all. You understand? Fundamentally, we are experiential creatures. We are having experience moment to moment. Whether you are being put in a new situation or in another situation, you're going to have one experience or of another, right? So I'm saying your experience is formed by the relationship you share with that, whatever that is. Without having a relationship, there is no experience you could get to have. So that's why if you want to change your experience, you want to change your relationship so that you can have a different experience with it. Unless you have a different relationship with it, you are not going to be able to have a different experience. Yeah, relationship and experience with something. If you want to change your experience with something, you need to go in and change the relationship with it first. Yeah, good. Or, hold the mayor. Experience. Yeah, good. Very, like, funny. Good story. Why would you correct someone? There. Yeah. Yeah, I was also thinking about it, like in what sense is the man that's here? I they have problems with that. I love that man. What are you doing here? Everyone else. And that's what at first had her other that is funny. Because this somehow has gotten into the thinking just gave rise to all of this kind of stuff, like regarding like competition. More is good. If you have less, then people are not going to value you. Because of it, the competition just is part and parcel with that sort of person who is really in that frame, operating from there. They're going to be extremely competitive in that field. Competition is not necessarily a bad thing, but just like you need to see whether my competition in this realm, what is it creating in terms of actual stuff in the world? Is it creating like pissing off people? That's not good. If it's creating excellence within me, like I would say, oh yeah, for me, that's what it helped me. Like for me, I was extremely competitive because I compared myself to all the other spiritual gurus out there, and I thought, what can I do better? How can I outperform them? How can I be known as better than these gurus? So I used it, but to just create excellence within me. I'm also aware of what this is creating in me. So a lot of people will be like, "Oh, don't you think that's ego?" But I'm like, yeah, that's ego. But I'm using my ego, using my ego to create what I want. And then, no, so I never always had other answer goes wrong. How would you know that you're good on what conquering your second? You have no idea what absolutely what. Yeah, you used it, and you always look at what the result is in terms. If the result, am I happy with this result? This is what I want. That's the question. Do I love? Yeah. Yeah, ego actually in terms of in terms of neuroscience, we can say the default mode network is the ego, man. A mode network, DMN. This is the part where your identity and all that kind of stuff is there. Your identity, no, the default mode network. And actually, when you're taking on a stronger dose, effectively what goes offline is the DMN. So the DMN goes offline. And what usually happens, this is the way things work in the brain. There is a lot of information, whatever information that you have got into your brain from all the life. All this information is there, but this information, they don't have the capacity to directly interconnect with each other. They have to go through a relay center. And this relay center, if you get it, in the brain, all the information that is within the brain, they all have to go through the DMN, the default mode network or the identity, and but it will already make modification based on what you have as ideas. Go into there, yeah, they go through the relay center and then they connect, but they cannot directly connect. They have to always go through the identity first. Or no, actually, a lot of modification happens when you pass through the identity. Yeah, and that then interpretations and all that stuff happens, and you not necessarily might be interpreting it in a certain way. Depends on all the beliefs that you already have, your identity about yourself, right? So what happens with mushrooms is they actually take the DMN offline and allow all the information within the brain available to directly interconnect one another. So that's how neuroplasticity is rapidly enhanced when you have something, because the information you start to find interconnectedness between things that you never made connect. I mean, you also you had that experience, like all sort of connections will come to light. They're like, oh, well, I understand why that way back then, or it came like, oh, protecting your keeps the all the information from directly connecting to one another. It keeps it all, yeah, filtered, and you cannot just directly simply connect. You need to simply. So when the daemon goes offline, then the brain is okay. Time to connect. The information within the brain, they all directly get interlinked and interconnected, rather than they remaining separate in their own domain, or only able to connect to each other only through this process relay center of the identity. Yeah. And just so let's just to say this is the brain and all the information is just like this. So now the DMN goes offline. Now they can all start connect to that. And every information goes. Yeah, usually, exactly. When you're normal, it just got to come to here, and then it can go to connect. Everything has to come through here, and then to go. What? What's the benefit? Huh? What? Why? Yeah. No, DMN. The benefit is that it's the identity. It's identity. We need an identity to kind of function in the world. We need that. We come up without any identity, right? We come to the world with no identity. And in the beginning, we don't really know where we end and the world begins. So when we first start making distinctions, okay, this is the edge of my body, and this is me, and this is not me, and my family, and this and that. So you start to make sense. You understand? It's a process. We are slowly making sense, and then the identity gets solidified when by the time we become an adult. It's a process. It's not like identity is just there from the beginning. Where you start, where or to start, you realize, oh, we're here. Yeah, and you make ideas like this is mine. I'm fine. Yeah. No, you are making sense. You are carving the boundary of what you are and what you are not. Yeah. What's perfect? Yeah, no, so- yeah, that's how you slowly shape the form of who you are and who you are not. So, so that's why your brain, yeah, on a small dose. Yeah, I don't know whether it's on a very small micro dose, whether DMN goes offline. I think it doesn't really go offline. No, because it's usually something that happens on a very strong dose when the ego kind of goes offline. Because Just ego goes offline. It cannot engage after a certain point. Then it works way up. Uh, what is it? No, I'm saying usually in the spiritual sort of trough, ego is considered as a bad thing. And to just destroying it is the way for you being having a good life or happy life. But I'm saying ego, as everything else, has its own roles and functions, and there's a place where it is going to be useful, and there's a place where it is not going to be useful. It's about you having the discernment to know how when it is serving you and it's not. Like for example, in that situation when that guy is in competition and pissing everyone off, his ego is not really serving him. But maybe in other situation when he made a lot of money, success with the business and all that stuff, his ego was serving. So it's like it's about having the discernment in terms of the result. Okay, now it's not really serving. I'm not able to show up at my best. I'm like engaging very poorly with the situation. So here, ego is not really serving. So then it's about me shaping the ego or me letting that ego dissolve. Because this is the idea, guys. The ego is not really a rock or something. It doesn't have a permanent existence. So you are creating it in the moment. So ego is getting created and dissolved at the same time. The new ego get created as soon as a new situation and all that stuff comes. Then, right, yeah, and it's emerging. It's emerging. You is emerging. And you know this stuff. You have experienced it. As soon as all the change of situation happens, a little bit, new year. Or suddenly just you guys come and they're all good and stuff. There's a new year. Yeah, just like that, right? We are like going nice and stuff, and suddenly someone make a such a rude headline. There's a new year, just like that, right? So ego is more thing. It's not always staying, it's like not there. The psychological illusion of its own. So it's emerged in the moment with the variables at play. And it's an emergence. It's always emerging. And it keeps emerging, changing. So it's about if in the moment, the ego that is emerging within me, if it is not serving me. And how do I know if it is not serving me? In terms of me able to gracefully and harmoniously engage with that moment, in terms of me able to showing up at my best. And I know when I show up at my best, the feeling that is unmistakable you are. I'm at my best now. Can feel it. Or dare to feel it. Yeah. Which is the whatever happens, I'm okay, yeah, that's stuff. Huh? And I can add so that's very okay. No, that is like a generalized sort of grounding that you are choosing for yourself as the truth of who you are and how you are operating in the world. That's kind of something that you're choosing. This is how I am. This is what I stand for. I choose to stand in this. I choose to ground myself in this idea. Who is there? That over you. Yes, and you are identifying with the I that chooses. Remember the two frames, the I that chooses and the I that creates. So I am the creator and I am the one who chooses. So and that's the frame I'm adopting within the mind. It's not that it's really true, but it gives me a particular way of engaging with the mind. I can ask from that point of view. If I think of myself as a creator, I don't have to say anything. I just simply ask the question, what am I creating? Is this what I want to create? It would I want to create my reminder. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so yeah, but you can also shape shift the ego. You can dissolve the version of ego that is not that you are not happy with, and you can create a different version of it. The whole like you are always ego, ego is always like that changing all the time. Ego is like no, ego is emerging all the time. It's emerging out of all the different variables with the shift in situation, shift in scenario, the people in it, how the people behave to you. You know, everything, how they are in, the mood they are in, they are get aggressive. Then I saw that gonna affect like everything. How they are a little bit passive aggressive and being judgmental, then that's gonna be every little thing, guys. Every little thing. And that's why I said no moment is like the same. So on the world, as long as we live, there's a whole new situation. and all the situations are emerging. Just the way we emerge into life, in the world.
Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good. Labor.
Whatever you are saying, yeah, the thing is, whatever we are saying, we are wrong because reality is not made of words and concepts. So it's about how do I really want to see it? Because it's however I want to make it to be, because however I say it, that's not how it is. The question is, how is it useful for me to see it? Okay. However you see it, that's not it. You are wrong. That's not how it is. The map is never ever going to be the territory. However good of a map it becomes, cannot replace the territory. The territory is the territory and the map is the map. Never gonna be able to put the position. So the map is only useful. The map is only useful to you as long as it is allowing you to navigate the territory better. So don't get attached to the map. The map is not the territory. Map is the way we look at things. All this I'm teaching is the map. This is all a map from yesterday. All that, everything I'm talking to you is a map. The way of looking at things, right? Yeah. We're trying to fit, fit it into. The thing is, what will happen? I will tell you, son, when it will be easy for you. It's difficult for you when you are not ready to let go of your old glasses and you still want to try on the new. You fear when you're ready to let go of that old one for some time and try on the new one. Okay, that's the deal. Okay, I get it. But what happens if you put the old one there, but you're like, you know what? I don't really want to take it out. I will just try to just make this work somehow. Yeah. Look at all the you defeat the entire purpose. The wearing the glasses itself. Good. That's what we are talking about. You being able to put down all the ways in which you have been looking at life. Just enough time, yeah, just enough time so that you can try on something new and see whether it's a good fit. That's experimentation, exploration that I encourage you. I'm just gonna experiment with it. If I were to see the world this way, if I were to look at the world the way it's looking, how would it be? Let me just try on today just like this. I'm not planning. Like, let me just, well, how it's gonna be? Experimenting and playing and taking feedback from it. Exploration, and you're letting your mind know that you can rest easy knowing that everything that I have learned, everything that I have understood until now, it's all there for me. It's not gone. And I know you're trying to protect me by trying to defend some of the old ways of how we look at things and stuff. But you know what? I'm just some time. Can just I'm not renouncing any of these guys. So you let the mind know. It's not like I'm delinquishing all of it because mind is gonna get all alarmed. Oh, what's gonna happen? Oh my god. Fuck. I've been like taking care of all these things and now he's suddenly gonna so you just have to tell the mind. Exploring with this stuff, guys. So there's no need to really fight. It's okay, we are just exploring.